Good morning, this is Jack Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 1st of July. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com and is published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. Okay, right, now, yesterday we were having a whole load of sell signals. That doesn't mean we need to go down a lot, but it is suggesting at least some retracement. But we had sell signals on 5 out of 6 of the indices last night. We've not quite reached the possible near miss target on ES yet, and I think there's a decent chance we'll do that, although historically there's a very, very high chance we're going to close up today. On NQ, we're getting into the possible near miss target area on RTY. We've now reached the target. On YM, we are well short of the target. So of those, this is now reaching the possible near miss target area. We didn't have one on DAX. ESTX has now pretty much reached target, and I've called it. So we've basically got two open sell signals here, which are on ES and DAX. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Now, one thing I'm watching here, what I'm thinking here is that we've got an opportunity here to reach escape velocity. And I think the obvious time to be looking at that and seeing whether or not we're getting there is at the end of the day today, because I think the pattern setup favors that. In terms of the short term, obviously we are above the daily upper band. We've been above it for 3 days. We have obviously retested the all-time high on SPX already. We've done the same on Qs. Dire, we're getting reasonably close, and IWM we're still well short, and IWM is the one, of course, which has the very bullish setup here. And if that makes target, then I'm thinking that everything could go significantly higher. In terms of the pattern setup here, the obvious trend line, there are alternatives, was basically tested here at the high yesterday. And we've got a possible hourly RSI 14 sell signal break. Looking at the 15-minute chart, here on Qs, we've tested it. We've tested the obvious trend line twice. Again, there are alternatives, and again, we've got a possible hourly RSI 14 sell signal break. Looking at Dire, we've also got a possible hourly RSI 14 sell signal break, and here we haven't reached the target yet. I'm thinking we're going to reach that target today, and I've got that in about the 442.24 area, 25 area. Again, there are alternatives, but these are basically what I want. What I want to see on the next phase up, if it can do it, is I want to see these rising wedges look less attractive, because right now they're looking pretty damn good. So I'm watching them every day, and we'll see. In terms of IWM, this hasn't done as well, but we're basically getting over all the resistance levels here. We've got that closed yesterday at 215.79, and that is getting over the 200 DMA, which is important, which is 214.57. I would like to see it to stay over the 200 DMA and continue heading higher. We don't have an RSI 14 sell signal brewing on the hourly here, but we will have one, albeit a weak one, on a retest of this high here at 217.40. We've also got a decent looking wedge here, and we're not at the resistance. Sorry, it's flipped back to us. SPX, it does that. So here I've got that up in about the 219.5 area, and obviously I'll be watching that. We will see how that goes, but really I'd be leaning towards, if we do see these all turn, I'd be leaning towards this making it up to that trend line before that happens. So we shall see. All right, DAX. DAX is now over and has confirmed the break back over the daily middle band, which is good. Nikkei is flying up at the moment towards the retest of this high here at 42.4. I was saying last week this was likely to all have been a very big and exceptionally spiky bull flag, and we're heading up to that, towards that target again. I'm thinking that if we are going to see a big turn here in the not too distant future, I'd be leaning towards that target being made first. So we'll see. All right, DX, we have made it down to 96 overnight. Now this is actually really important because let's head over to the USD charts, because that's where this megaphone is. After we made this high here, you can see I'm saying up here that USD went through channel resistance, which was here, and has reversed at a possible alternative megaphone resistance trend line. And I was saying that on the 8th of October, 2022. So we finally now just reached that target. It's not updated on this chart yet, and it won't do till tonight. But if we are going to see a turn back up, this is kind of the obvious place to do that. We will see a breakdown here confirms we've got a topping pattern, and it could of course be this bull flag. But if we hold this, then actually the next obvious target would be a retest of this high here at 114.78, which would be the bull flag target, and we might of course head up to the megaphone resistance, which would be considerably above in about the 119, 120 area now. I'm not really leaning towards seeing that, but I am watching this test with great interest. Okay, let's have a look at ZB. ZB, we went a little higher yesterday. The question is, are we about to turn? The TNX 60-minute chart certainly likes a turn here, and TLT quite likes it too, so we shall see. But I'm liking that provisionally. If we see a hard push up here, then that will start to fall apart, and then we will be leaning more towards the upside. Don't really have an obvious resistance trend line here on the end. We've got a weak 60-minute sell signal phase. All right, looking at CL. CL, this still looks like a bear flag setting up a retest of this low, which I've got just under 64. The 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. HO still looks like a bear flag setting up a retest of this low in the 2.2 area. Buy signal had already reached the possible near miss target. RBOB, with gas oil, we've got a 60-minute buy signal as fixed, and that's now also reached the possible near miss target. Could be bottoming action, could be setting up a retest of the low, we'll see. NG, we had this hard spike up on Friday. I was thinking this might lead to more, but it's been fully rejected and made it all the way back to the lows. Bigger picture, I'm leaning towards the short side here. What I would say is we've got a 6-minute buy signal that is fixed. It might fail today, but it's not a bad one. So we will watch that. And this is potentially a double bottom setup. So watching that with interest. GC, all of the new monthly pivots are going to be on the charts I send out today, by the way. And also I'll be sending out the chart of the new weekly pivots with the email. Okay, GC, we had this little falling megaphone forming, and we have seen that broken up. I'm getting a little skeptical about seeing the bear bull flag target at a retest of the all-time high soon, but this is a good step in the right direction. And on SI, the obvious next target is in the 39 area. Still seeing if it breaks down from this double top. This was a nice touch of the rising support. We've actually got a 4-touch support trend line here. I'd like to see that hold and for us to head up into resistance in the 39 area. Palladium, this could be a little head and shoulders forming. The sell signal obviously made target on platinum. The weak 6-minute sell signal reached the possible near miss target, but I'm probably going to call that tomorrow. I think that's pretty much made target. Wondering if we're going to see a test of this rising support, which isn't here because the trend lines move. They do this sometimes. It's really annoying. So bear with me a moment. That trend line has actually been broken already. It might be extending into a larger trend line. I've got a very good example of that on sugar I'll be coming to. But yeah, that's broken slightly. We will see. This could just basically move this trend line here if it can get back to this trend line here. So we shall see, which is also, no, that's in the right place now. Okay, looking at HG. HG, possible double top here, wondering about a reversal here, nested double top. Could just push through it. Not a lot to see on USD. We've got a possible weak 6-minute sell signal brewing. Little double top potentially on GBP. And USD JPY, this resolved into a rising megaphone eventually, and that megaphone has broken down. I'd be leaning towards seeing at least a retest of this low here in the 142 area. Looking at KC. KC broke up slightly over this declining resistance, not necessarily significant. We've got a 60-minute buy signal which is fixed and hasn't really done anything yet. Sugar, where actually we expanded to the upside and we've now expanded to the downside. Sorry, that trend line has again moved since I drew it. Just moving them back again. This is a falling megaphone, and at the moment, this looks like it's starting to break down. So watching that with great interest. As I said, sugar has got, if this did break down, this would actually have a target in about the 12 area. And as I said, on the bigger picture, head and shoulder, this has a head and shoulders breaking down, which has got, I think it's head and shoulders, with a target in about 6.5 to 9 area. And this could be a step on that road. All right, CC. CC heading down again. My lean is lower here, but I'm not quite sure what's been happening here. CT. CT is coming back and testing the weekly pivot and the new monthly pivot. I'd like to see the new monthly pivot hold the support. This could be a head and shoulders, setting up a retest of this low. And that trend, that neckline would be. Sorry, I've drawn this in already, but I've been a bit distracted by all the new monthly pivots this morning. All right, this would be the neckline, more or less, roughly. This could be setting up a head and shoulders to take this straight back to the lows, which wouldn't be surprising, but I'd be hoping that was the second low of an oversized double bottom. Lumber. Lumber, we've got this nice looking rising mega picture. This looks like a bear flag on wheat. Possible little double bottom here. 60-minute bicycle is fixed. I think it's got a shot. That would basically take us back to a test of the new monthly pivot at 555.75. On corn, breaking slightly below megaphone support. This isn't necessarily significant. We've got a possible double bottom here, but if this is going to find support, it needs to find it soon. On the bigger picture, I was talking about targets lower on Sunday. On soy, we've got a potential double bottom here. Probably needs a retest of this low. On soybean oil, possible IHS here, but it's not showing any enthusiasm about breaking up again. Breaking up at the moment. Live cattle, we've got a little IHS here, which is broken up with target at a retest of this high in the 220 area. And lean hogs, we've got a little head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 102.9 area. So at the moment, they've not seen much movement. I called those yesterday. We shall see. All right, great. Let's have a look at questions. Yeah, my pleasure as always, guys. All right. Anyway, I better get on to crypto because I need to work out the monthly pivots for those two. Take care. Catch you tomorrow. Remember, this is one of the most bullish leaning days of the year. Do not be wary about short bets today. All right. Take care.